Alright, so I kind of thought that I was going to need a break from Danger Pack, but once the game actually got updated, I felt the temptation to go in and play some Danger Pack against some actual human opponents. I mean, obviously the testers on the private server were human, but there was hardly any of us on there. So the number of different opposing teams was pretty low. And I've been quite enjoying it. There are obviously some issues that become apparent as soon as you actually start playing against a wider range of realistic teams. But I think overall it's still pretty fun to play, and there's a lot of different stuff you can do, especially using some of my favourite units. Now, a lot of the videos you'll have already seen this week will have shown transform teams using Golden Tamarin and then the late game scaling unit Amsterdam Albatross, which gives permanent stats when units transform. But I thought it would be fun to kind of showcase a transform team that does not require heavy scaling, because you can definitely make one of them as well. And the way we're going to do that is with the giant Pangasius. Again, I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation or not, but it's the sad-looking green fish guy on tier 5, which we'll get to soon enough. But we have our first transform unit here, which is the Taita Shrew. I think that's how Not a Gamedev Log pronounced it. Again, I have no idea if that's correct, but we'll trust him in this instance. It will turn into a weasel at start of battle, so that's pretty handy if we're trying to build a specific team. You know, having a bit of extra gold always helps. The other way to gain gold in this pack is Sardinian Current, which is a food on tier 6, so it takes a very long time to actually get one of those onto your squad. So in the meantime, taking Shrew is a sound investment, I think, and we do end up finding a level up. I think in this pack, especially even in the test phase, I found myself buying the stat foods constantly, so red pea and the carrot as well, and then Oblinot on one of the higher tiers. I think they're all just very solid purchases. It's kind of a bit strange not having one of the splash foods in the pack. I mean, I guess chickpea is a splash food, but there are many situations where you can't take it. So here we level up into 2 transform units, either Kakapo or Golden Tamarin. And I definitely am going to take the Kakapo here. I actually thought I was going to take the Golden Tamarin. We're going to look at 2 different runs in this video, so it might be that the Tamarin is in the second run. Again, you can, the strongest option is probably just to take the Tamarin and then use the transform scaling, but you definitely don't have to do that. So here the Kakapo is going to instant level 3 the Shrew, which is going to help us get even more gold and set us up for our final pivot into a proper transform team. So Pangasius' ability, which as we level up into it, I'll put it up on screen, but essentially what it does is it's much like Lionfish. It will snipe on feint for every time that a pet on your team transformed that turn. So I think here what I'm going to do is sell one of the units I've already got. Really, I should just sell the bee. Yeah, the Bombus at the back there, although it is probably my favorite tier 1 in this pack. And then buy the Vanilla Bean, which scales the 2 leftmost shop pets, and then take the scaler. And we only have 1 transform at the moment, so the Pangasius isn't going to do very much. But ideally, I want to get a ton of different transformations, and then when the Pangasius feints, it's going to snipe a bunch of times, like a Lionfish would, and hopefully get rid of most of the opposing squad. Now, the one downside with Pangasius, I mean, I guess every unit has to have some kind of a downside, but the one downside is it's a little bit awkward to position in this pack, since some of the best units for transformations affect 2 units ahead or 2 units behind. And I think the tier 2 monkey can actually transform 3 pets, which does mean that you're very limited in where you can actually place the Pangasius. But it's not necessarily that big a deal. The biggest concern is whether or not it's going to get sniped and go off before you get all your transformations. However, it will actually count transformations in the shop as well, so we can boost it up by using chickpea which I think I'm going to do here, or maybe I'm going to forget that that's an option. Yeah, chickpea in the shop. I should have used that there, or at least frozen it. But we've put the banana onto the angel shark at the front, and the banana will turn it into an ant before attack, so that counts for the Pangasius as well. So in this current formation, we should have 2 transforms. Yeah, you can see it there. The Pangasius is going to trigger twice on feint, and it's a fairly low-statted opponent. They've got Cobra from Red Panda, but it's only 4 stat line. So there we go, we take a win there. Now I get the level 2, and then I think, am I going to take these scalers? I can't remember what this team actually ends up looking like. I thought this was going to be a pretty low-statted run, but maybe this is the run that I end up taking all the scaling units. You definitely don't have to take the scalers. I mean, here we don't have Rollaway Monkey, and we don't have Sifaka or Shifaka, however you pronounce it. So I think we need a little bit more in terms of stats in order to compete, because we're not going to be generating a lot of snipes until we can buy some more perks. I think actually that I probably should have taken, I think there was another banana in shop which I could have used to trigger another transformation. But luckily it's another relatively weak opponent. The other transform food in the pack that works in battle is Cocoa Bean. And Cocoa Bean is kind of unusual. There it is actually in the shop there. But I don't know if I'm going to take it yet. Yeah, okay, I should freeze it. I'm going to put that on the hornbill and place it at the front. And then it will transform into an opposing unit. Now, since we don't have particularly high stats, it doesn't really matter if we copy a unit from the other side of the board that is low statted. All we care about, in fact, you can see the Cocoa Bean work there. All we care about is stocking another transformation to increase the damage from the Pangasius. So I can't remember here. I guess what's going to happen is I'm going to replace the shrew with Red Panda once I get another chocolate. I want to be able to instant level 2 the Red Panda. And that transformation will count. Unfortunately here we're going to miss out on any snipes from the Pangasius because everything got destroyed at start of battle, but we still win. Yeah, definitely not a low scaling run in this first clip, so maybe I've put them in the wrong order. But I guess maybe here I'm going to give up on Red Panda, which doesn't seem like me at all. Okay, there we go, we finally get the chocolate. So I'm sure next turn I'm going to get rid of the shrew, even though it has pretty good stats. One of the best team names I've seen recently, Bobo the Pro Bono Bonobo. Very clever. Luckily here the II was 1 trigger away from summoning anything. I guess I could get rid of the Hornbill as well, but because it has the Cocoa Bean, the transformation is already set on it. So here we get Mantis Shrimp, or Komodo doesn't work with this team at all, so we have to pass it up. And I think now I'm just rolling down looking for, well, I guess I'm going to take this chocolate, but I was looking for another Cocoa Bean, because Mantis Shrimp at 6/6 is a terrible stat line, but, you know, it could be transforming into a 30/30 that we copy from the other side. Okay, here's another transform team. Although they don't have the transform support units, they've got level 3 Blue Whale. Now initially I didn't see very many people playing Blue Whale, but I think everyone's starting to work out the best strategy with it. You basically have to race to getting a level 3 as soon as you possibly can, I think, for it to be effective. So we get level 3 Kakapo. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that one correctly either, but we're just going to go with it. Another transform team. I think this is more, you know, exactly what you would expect for a transform opponent, where they have the Amsterdam Albatross. But I think the Pangasius is going to do enough damage for us to win. Okay, maybe it didn't matter there, but we still get the victory and we get the level 3 Kakapo ribbon as well. Oh, and Angel Shark to boot. Actually, we got 3 ribbons there, Hornbill 2. Okay, now here's the next game, and now I think this must be the low statted game. And one of the best ways to farm a bunch of transforms in the shop is using Proboscis Monkey. I don't know if it's Proboscis or Proboscis. I guess I should have looked that up, but I'll just call him the tier 2 monkey for the rest of the video. So what it does is it transforms the friend ahead at start of turn into another pet from the same tier. So you'll see it happen here. We transform the Babirusa into a tapir. And we're just going to try and get a higher level monkey as soon as we can. And if we can get it to level 3, then that will be 3 transformations for our Pangasius when we do finally find it. Looks like we're going to lose here. Yeah. I think most of the strongest transform teams are all going to involve Rollaway Monkey and the Mannequin, which is the white bird at the back of that team, at least in the early game. But I really wanted to get one of these teams going that didn't use those specific units. So I think we're going to pass them up even if we do see them. Now here we do end up getting an African wild dog, which is a bit unfortunate. Thankfully we were already on 6 attack, so it didn't really matter. But you can see there that if the African wild dog has the banana, it actually turns into an ant and still triggers its ability, which I think is a really nice touch. So at the moment, yeah, the changes that the transformations that the monkey is performing aren't really having that much of an effect. But once we get the Pangasius into the team, we'll start to see the benefit. I think Takushi, this dolphin guy at the front, has rapidly become a favourite for a lot of players. It must be one of the most common units that I'm seeing playing on the live server. It definitely was one of mine on the test server, and it did go through a few different iterations, which I think I'll show in a video at some point. So here we go, we level up into Pangasius on turn 7 again, and I think I'm going to go for the standard vanilla bean strategy, try and scale it up a little bit before I bring it in. Looks like I'm going to go for Giant Otter as well, although maybe we don't really need it. But I guess because we have the monkey, we can actually just transform the otter into something else if we want to. So it is also quite useful in that respect. Double otter on this team. And yeah, initially it looks like they're extremely strong, but once the otter stats go away, their squad is actually very weak. I'm not sure, there was an interaction on the test server with Giant Otter and Transformation. I don't know if it's still in the game or not. I guess I'll have to test it, but in one version you were able to preserve the temporary stats if you transformed the Giant Otter into something else before the stats got removed. But I feel like that might have been patched out. Okay, so we're going to take Bonobo here, and then I get Love Potion from the Krill. And I don't think Love Potion is very good in this pack, but I really wanted to try using it with Pangasius. Mainly because, you know, it has a feint ability, and it could potentially do some good damage removing equipment, even if just at level 1. But I have a feeling that for almost every round I'm just going to leave it as is and not bother using the Love Potion. So we take the level up. We do get the Scalar Bird. Am I going to take it again? I don't think I do, but maybe I am going to take it for just now. Of course, the thing is, it's going to get transformed by the monkey anyway, so we're only going to get 1 turn of scaling, and then it's going to become something else. Now, I think something to be aware of, which I'm sure other channels have maybe pointed this out already, is that because Blue Whale's ability is kind of destructive to your own team, it's not possible to get Blue Whale on a transformation from... I don't think it's possible to get it from the monkey, and I also think it's not possible to get it from Chickpea. So if I transformed the Albatross into another tier 6, it would never be Blue Whale, because essentially your team would be destroyed on the following turn if you ended up getting Blue Whale in that situation. I don't think that's necessarily that big a deal in Arena, but it would be pretty annoying in versus mode. But now you can see the amount of power we can get from this Pangasius. That opponent, I think, had a Tamarin that turned into Salmon of Knowledge, or maybe it was my Tamarin that turned into it. Now, one thing you do have to be careful about with transformations is getting Giant Tortoise, because you can still get that, and as you can see, it downgrades its own health, downgrades its own attack to be 4 when it was 8. So yeah, that's not the best. It looks like we're going to lose to this scaling transform squad. Because we're going for a low statted team, we really just want to try and win as soon as we possibly can. As we end up getting, is that the same pairing again, where we end up getting the dolphin and the albatross? But I'm going to use the double chickpea. We're getting actually pretty good luck finding chickpeas in the shop. Yeah, it being the only way to manually transform something in the shop outside of using Bonobo or Red Panda. You can get unlucky with, turns where you just don't find any at all. But there's another great round where the Pangasius clears out their backline super easily. And then we luckily get the Tamarin on the random transformation. So we're going to have an extra transform in the following battle. A little bit more scaling, but we still don't have any units above 20 stats. So I feel like this still counts as a low statted opponent. And again there, look at the damage from the Pangasius. Level 3, and I guess we had, was it 4 or 5 transformations that turn? So we'll do the same thing again. We end up getting the Angel Shark, which is going to give us a bit more inadvertent scaling. Now there is Cocoa Bean there, but because of the ordering, there isn't really anything we can use it on. We definitely can't put it on the Pangasius, and putting it on the monkey at the back probably isn't going to make much difference. Now, are we going to have enough here? I guess not. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, we end up getting the melon from the turtle and a couple of 1 HP breakpoints, and we scrape the victory. That seemed extremely unlikely we were going to win there. And again, no stats above 20.